Focus on that, you cunt. Oh, you can't see it. But it doesn't matter. You fucked up. You did a wrong thing. Niantic, this is the worst thing you could have possibly done in the whole of the video game Pokemon Go that you invented. Let me tell you a little thing about Pokemon Go. There's these things called Pokemon. And then these other things called region-exclusive Pokemon, which are Pokemon exclusive to regions around the world. Pokemon Go is a global game, and the idea is to go out and explore, to go to Pokemon Go, to the poles or wherever else. And, you know, the North Pole, the South Pole, right? To explore the world, to explore the globe, to be well-traveled individuals. It's an excuse and a reason to get millennials out of their bedrooms clacking on the keyboards and go and playing a game, but outside, in a way that the PSP could never fucking do. The Nintendo DS, none of that shit works. Even mobile games you can play on the toilet inside. Pokemon Go is a game you have to play outside. And it's revolutionary, it's great, it's really successful, and it's really good for everybody who plays it, and it's really nice. And region-exclusive Pokemon are Pokemon that incentivize that higher level of exploration. Because initially, you play the game and you're like, oh, what's around me? You go around, you explore streets and areas nearby that you may have never really needed to go to for any reason, and you understand your local area. You understand the 3D space of real life in which you live. There's streets, and they have names, and they have buildings and structures and things of interest. And you walk around these places over and over again, you get a sense of what the hell outside means. And you feel more comfortable outside. That's step one, playing the game in your local area. And then you start thinking, what if I go to a neighboring town? What if I go to the nearby city? If I take the train or the bus, or maybe get in a car with friends, or just do anything, just go somewhere a bit further out. Take a longer walk. You know, you start to expand your reach. You go to places you'd never even heard of before. You go to places that you never even really cared about before. You explore more of your local area, more bigger local area, greater local area. I don't know what you would describe that as, a place a little bit far out of field, and etc., etc. And then you complete your Pokédex by doing lots of Pokemon treks, and then raiding. Raiding is a thing that you can do to get rarer Pokemon and legendary Pokemon, which is like the 5-star, the very difficult raids, which encourage and, you know, you need friends and allies with you to do these raids together to beat them. If you don't do this, you can't beat them. You can't do it alone. So it's incentivizing and encouraging exploration and understanding and cooperation with the people around you. It's getting you out the house and it's getting you talking to people. It's a really good and useful thing for the world. Because people just don't do that. They got the internet, they can stay inside, they can never do anything. There's a whole generation of people that just, they don't need to do anything outside of their house. They can do everything inside of their house. They can order groceries online. It's a bad thing. And now Pokemon Go is getting some of the gamers outside. It's something. It's good. My point being that in this latest bonus curse, it's not a bonus, it's a curse. They've ruined the game by doing this. For a limited time only, 7K eggs picked up on September 13th until September 30th. I can't remember the dates. Who cares? I'm not going to give you exact dates. I don't want you doing this. People are going to be able to get region-exclusive Pokemon from Gen 1 in 7K eggs. Now, 7K eggs are just eggs that you get from friends that don't, you know, that know your trainer code. They send you a gift by spinning a Pokestop. You get an egg sometimes, usually all the time you get an egg, if you have any space for an egg. And it's a 7K egg, which means you have to walk 7 kilometers to open it, and once you open it, you get a special Pokemon that you can't get usually. And by putting region-exclusive Pokemon in 7K eggs, there's much less of an incentive to go to these regions, now that the region-exclusive Pokemon are in these eggs, because guaranteed, like it will have used to have been that having one of these Pokemon means you either traveled to that place, which means it's a mark of like, hey, cool, sick, you traveled to this place and you have a Pokemon from that place, that's cool, or you at least have traded with a person who has traveled, so you at least know someone. It's secondary, but it's still cool. Now, you just need to have hatched an egg, and even if you hatch as many eggs as you possibly can and you don't get one of these region exclusives, there are going to be enough people in your local area who will have done it, and then these region exclusives are not going to be region exclusive. Even though you can't catch them in these regions, there's going to be people all over the country, all over all of these countries that have various amounts of these region exclusives, and they're going to be trading them with each other so that everybody has the full Pokedex. But by getting rid of the region exclusives, the incentive to go to these countries is diminished. And now, I have a lot. I'm not going to film my screen for this. I have a whole lot of Mr. Mimes. Can you see that? One of them isn't a Mr. Mime. I have a whole lot of good Mr. Mimes that I was saving so that I could bring to my American friends in America for whenever we do something like this. And now, there's a high chance that all of them are going to have a Mr. Mime by the time I get there. And it's like, like, the cool thing about me going to America is that I'm inherently interesting to trade with because I have abundance, presumably, of a Pokemon from my region that they can't get access to, and so it's sort of, it's not only disincentivizing going to those countries, but disincentivizing talking to the people in those countries because they may have already got the region exclusive. This isn't a big problem, but it's sort of, it isn't a big problem in itself, this one thing. But what it does is it sets a precedent that if you wait long enough, and you do all the bonuses that Niantic throws at you, the challenges to get bonus things, there's now a precedent set for waiting, and then you can get everything. You don't need to leave your local area, you don't even need to do anything, you just sort of need to play the game at a normal rate, and eventually you'll fucking get every Pokemon in the game, because for some reason Niantic wants you to complete your Pokedex by undermining everybody who's managed to do it when it was difficult. And where's the prestige? Nobody's going to... if you see a Pokemon in a gym, you can't click on that Pokemon to see what date it was caught at, or like where it was caught. You just know that this person has this Pokemon. And so there's no, like, you can't check to see whether they got it when it was more difficult to catch that Pokemon, or whether they got it when it was much easier to catch that Pokemon. All you know is that person has that thing in that gym, and the prestige is gone, the incentive to do things is gone. Now everybody knows that if they fucking wait, and they just get everything they want, everything, every single Pokemon in every part of the Pokedex will eventually be given to them in some way. They don't need to do anything. And the idea that being the best Pokemon master means actually traveling around the world, it's not true anymore. You don't need to do that. In fact, it's better if you don't do that, because you'll save money. And that's the most fucking important thing, isn't it? Oh, you fucking ruined it. You fucked up. That's the worst thing you've ever done. Fuck you, Niantic. Cunt.